Hey guys, what's going on? It's Corey from the Crypto Crypt. Today we're here to talk about why you maybe shouldn't get involved with mining. Stay tuned. So, I'm here, I woke up this morning, and like a lot of my mornings lately, I woke up to my miner not running again. And so yeah, essentially I just wanted to give you a few reasons. Obviously you guys can decide for yourself if you want to get involved with mining or not. But I've recently, at least this morning, ran into the most frustration I've run into in a little while. Next to my experiences with Hive OS, which I will be trying again very shortly, probably even this afternoon, because even Ubuntu is running really badly right now. And I actually don't think it's the operating system. I'm half certain that one of my cards is just not running very good. This video will be just giving you guys an idea of maybe why you might not want to start mining. So I just wanted to touch base and give you some idea of what you can expect if you get into mining. It's not all it's cracked up to be sometimes, and it's not always enjoyable. Especially when your coins you mined are now worth less than what they were before, like a couple days ago, which, you know, is normal. The market's gonna fluctuate. But when you're earning less, the stress and the frustrations you run into along the way end up not seeming so worth it anymore, I guess. So anyways, here's let's give you 3 reasons why you may want to consider not getting into mining. Reason number 1, the cards are ridiculously expensive right now, guys. If you're looking at any cards, if you've been trying to source anything, you might as well not bother, honestly. I'll probably link some stuff here or there, but you'll see the prices are, you know, double, triple, you know, ridiculous prices. And if you decide to buy something at those prices thinking you're gonna have the return on investment, or you're gonna be making X dollars a day based on what to mine or whatever source you're getting your information from, you're gonna be really unhappy with yourself, because it's not gonna be accurate. You're not gonna be getting what to mine says, because you won't always have that uptime. You won't always be up. It's not always gonna be able to run 24/7. If you're lucky, you may get 80% of the time. So I've been having a lot of issues, as I was saying, with this particular card. Actually, this particular card, when I have an issue and it's only one card that goes down, it's this one here. So I'm starting to think maybe my riser's giving me some issues, or the card itself needs to be RMA'd. So I gotta do more testing, but essentially that's my reason number 2. It may take a lot longer than you expect to get things going and keep them going. Like I said earlier, every single morning I've gotten up and my miner's been turned off. It's like well, not every single morning. That's an exaggeration. Some mornings I get up and I'm actually surprised when it's still running. But I don't understand. It runs for close to 24 hours sometimes. Sometimes it runs for 3 or 4 days and with no problems. But lately, the more frustrating times is when I go to bed at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and it seems like it turns off as soon as I go to bed. Like, the most irritating thing ever is that it just, I mean, obviously it's not choosing to do this despite me, but it feels that way sometimes, doesn't it? It just makes you think that, okay, well, it knows when I'm leaving and it's just gonna decide to turn off then. It makes me want to set an alarm at like 5, 6 in the morning just to check on it. But then, you know, this morning I got up at 8:30 and it was turned off, the whole thing, not just one card, which I don't mind when it's just this card, because then I'm only losing money on this card. This card locks up and it says, you know, GPU 2, I believe this one is not functioning correctly, but the other cards at least keep mining. But when the whole rig just locks up and I actually have to hard reset it, and then this happens where I can't even restart it the normal way I've been restarting it hundreds of times in the past, it frustrates the heck out of me, you know. And but yeah, so yeah, just be ready to deal with troubleshooting. This is something like, to me, it's not as worth it because I only have one miner and not as many cards as I'd like, I guess. But if I had more, I guess it would seem more worth it while I'm spending my time troubleshooting. But I spend days troubleshooting this sometimes because it doesn't just stop working within an hour. It stops working the next day, a few days later. So it's just really hard to nail down. The third reason you may not want to get into mining is because it's not as set it and forget it as a lot of people may make you think. And it can be, I guess, if every component works flawlessly together, then, you know, it may just be set it and forget it. Set your, you know, your values, your clock values and whatnot, and it should be fine. But from my experience running my miner, it's not going to be the case for most people. You're going to have different issues, and those issues may be persistent regardless of what you do, because I've had clocks set to base clock and it still does what it's doing right now. So sometimes you just run into a lot longer of a frustration and you don't necessarily figure it out right away. And, you know, I'm not super experienced with Linux, and I'm learning as I go, so there's probably stuff that I'm doing wrong, but that's kind of the process that you have to go through. But essentially, I was planning on leaving this behind at you know, a friend's place or something while I was doing some traveling in the near future, potentially, or leaving it, you know, for somebody else to run. But I'm realizing that's less and less of a reality potentially, because essentially you can't just leave it. You know, it won't just run by itself. I mean, you can set up scripts so it'll auto reset and all this stuff, but if it gets jammed, if it gets locked up like it seems to always like to do, your scripts are gonna do nothing. So anyways, that's where, you know, I believe that it's not set it and forget it. You can't necessarily just leave it and believe that it's going to keep running. You need to be on top of it, and it's not a full-time job because it'll run for days, potentially hours, but it is something you got to keep an eye on. It's not something that you can just leave and let run, kind of like cloud mining. Not that I like cloud mining that much, but I much prefer this type of mining. But yeah, so those are the few reasons, guys, why I believe that mining isn't necessarily all it's cracked up to be. And I just wanted to make you guys aware that if, you know, any of you are thinking about getting into mining, it's a great hobby, it's really fun, but be prepared to potentially run into a lot of frustrations that you didn't really expect to happen or you couldn't have foreseen. So yeah, that's where I'm at, guys. Hopefully you got a little something out of the video. My next video will be regarding Hive OS, because I'm going to keep pounding away at that and try to figure out what I was doing wrong. Thank you guys for all the comments you left on that video. It's actually been like my most popular video, the struggles I had with my Hive OS installation. And you guys have really, you know, been all over trying to help me with different comments and stuff. And honestly, I haven't had time to take the time to actually, you know, implement those comments and see if any of your suggestions work. And honestly, I haven't been that motivated to, because this has been working half decently other than the random resets that I have to do every now and then. But now it's gotten to the point where it's frustrated me enough that I'm gonna switch back and give Hive OS another try. So I've found a solution that works most of the time when I'm having temporary issues, or the issue is just, you know, as far as the issue is persistent and I can't figure out the solution necessarily. You know, as I said, my one card could be the issue or the riser going to it, but I've, you know, had the entire rig just shut down as well, so it's not always the one card going down. So here's what I'd normally do to solve my issue. I essentially just make sure that everything's up to date, and I go through the process of, you know, sudo apt-get updates, and I just go through all of the process that I normally do when I first installed this, other than making the file unexecutable and all of that stuff. So let's go through that right now so you guys can see how you would do that. So I got my miner here running. Why are you zooming in on me? Alright, so yeah, the miner's here. We're going to stop the miner, so Control C. Sometimes that takes a little while to actually stop. And we're just going to do, so I'm going to grab, I actually got this copy and pasted to make my life a little easier when I want to do it. So I'm just going to copy this line here. My little password. Alright, so we're doing our updates here. So this is going to go through and update everything. All I did was, if you can see that here, sudo apt-get update -y and sudo apt-get update -y. Actually, what? Upgrade rather. Update and then upgrade. So yeah, we're gonna let this go through. Then I'll do a sudo apt-get install. I don't necessarily know if I need to do all this, but this has been my process and it seems to make it run for more than just a couple days. So we're gonna do this and see if this hopefully gets it going again, or gets it going consistently again. Thanks a lot, guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and smash that like button if you got anything out of this. I really appreciate you. Take it easy.